Stretching across deserts, mountains, and bustling cities, this border represents a shared heritage, struggles, and dreams. Join Uncharted Destiny on an exhilarating journey as we discover hidden layers in this captivating region.
Very dangerous right here. This isn't very promising.
The people are fed up. The people are fucking angry.
In a land where cultures collide and history echoes through the rugged terrain, there exists a boundary that transcends mere lines on a map.
Welcome to the California and Mexico border, a place pulsating with diversity and hope.
Long before borders, the Kuuchamaa lived across what's now San Diego and Baja California for over 10,000 years. This land wasn't just home, it was sacred. Mountains like Kuuchamaa, where spiritual centers and every river, valley, and peak held deep meaning. Then came the Spanish in 1769, taking their land, suppressing their culture, and forcing them into missions. But the Kuuchamaa never gave up. They resisted then, and they're still here today, honoring their ancestors and fighting for their rightful place on the land that has always been theirs.
Been here for thousands of years. So what you see when you look around the powwows, you see how we've adjusted to all these changes. We're not wearing the clothes that our ancestors wore 1,000 years ago. We're wearing modern clothes. But then you also do see in our regalia traces of those very, very old and ancient ways to our people. We have our songs and our dances, which some are composed more recently, some are ancient. And it is showing that we are still here and we're still dynamic, we're still changing to the times. We are who we are, how we were always meant to be, who the Creator created here on this land as the first peoples of the Turtle Island. But we have continued to change and grow, and we like that.
They are an indigenous people of California, evidence of the settlement in what is today considered Kuuchamaa territory may go back 12,000 years. When we speak of the U.S.-Mexico border, formally established in 1848, we have to consider that it's both a physical space as well as an ideological representation of two different places. For much of its history, humans flowed somewhat seamlessly through this physical space.
I don't think I fit, bro. Oh my God.
My name is Derek Herrera, a local Native American student here in San Diego. I'm from Kuuchamaa Nation. I study political science, American Indian Studies, and international security conflict. I'm currently chair for our Native American Student Alliance, and I also work for the Native Resource Center here at SDSU. The land that this institution is built upon is Kuuchamaa land, and all of San Diego is considered Kuuchamaa land. Acknowledging that and actually understanding, going in depth and doing the research, not intrusively, but respectfully, understanding the importance that land plays in indigenous communities like the Kuuchamaa. Because often the land is disregarded. From a micro scale, we see litter and trash, and now we see oil pulling and gas lines being built and mass construction, to where soon, as gentrification proceeds, we almost won't see any green throughout the world, which is sad. Investing in vegetation is equivalent to investing in life. What happens when we don't have natural plants or anything like that? And then that ties in with my own community, where we have indigenous and native plants and areas where those groups specifically grow. And for gentrification to increase, I don't necessarily see the bounds being pushed on reservations, but with modernization, land needs to be preserved and needs to be respected. It ties to my roots. It explains my culture. It shows life. It shows that I'm here. It shows that my family is well and living. It shows a legacy to be able to, you know, be once nothing, just all dirt on a sense of allotment, and then to grow into something so complex and so beautiful, where there are trees and so many indigenous and native plants that have backstories to Kumeyaay history and many indigenous folks' history.
Soon after the Kumeyaay missionization period, 1769, territorial exchanges in the Mexican-American War and the Gadsden Purchase, 1853, would largely establish the current U.S.-Mexico border. Until the early 20th century, the border was open and largely unpatrolled, with only a few mounted guards patrolling its length. However, tensions between the United States and Mexico started to rise with the Mexican Revolution 1910 and World War I, which also increased concerns about weapons smuggling, refugees, and cross-border espionage.
It's devastating to see people have died trying to cross the border for a chance at a better life.
Let's go see if there's any drops in the tunnel. Whoa. You know, you come out to the desert and you see mountain lion tracks or coyote tracks, but here you see people tracks. And there's whole groups of them. They're really hard to make out in the soft sand, but you can clearly see there's divots and they're all heading that way towards that tunnel. On the other side of this little mountain range here is Mexico. And there's no border wall through this mountain range, but there's a bunch of ancient trails that have been there for hundreds and thousands of years. Modern day migrants still use to get into the US without having to go to the border wall. See, this is really rough terrain. Plus, it's like a cat and mouse game. That's a boot print, right? So that's Border Patrol. When you see those videos and you hear about people dying in the Sonoran Desert trying to cross into America, this is the region they're talking about. Oh, there's an organization called the Border Angels, and they leave water drops and they leave food for the migrants and, you know, like clothing and stuff like that. And this is a wild area. There's mountain lions. There's all kinds of stuff out here.
So we're approaching a tunnel, huh?
Yeah, this is like the threshold. So yeah, we've got a drop here. It looks like somebody's left water. There's food, you know, there's corn. That's from this year, a couple months ago. What do you got? Some tuna, mushroom soup, you know, lots of soups. Anything just to bring sustenance, you know? People have every reason to not trust this stuff when they're coming through here too.
Mascarillos.
Yeah, socks.
Masks and socks.
And you see right on there, somebody wrote Buena Suerte, good luck. The Border Patrol is supposed to save people too, but they're really out here trying to catch people.
It's an unforgiving desert.
This is a creek, and it comes through this tunnel, it goes out there, and this creek kind of follows the 8 freeway, and it keeps going up until you get into Ocotillo and the major cities. And once they get here is where they're gonna start going out different directions, you know?
So this is make or break right here.
This is make or break, and it breaks a lot of people. If you hike up into these hills, we've been up there before, there's memorials for people that didn't make it. And hikers have found skulls out there. So it's a very unforgiving territory. Since before Mexico and the United States existed, people and animals have been migrating back and forth through this region for all kinds of reasons for thousands of years. It's so huge and there's just so much ground to cover. This is a chunk of old Highway 80. They demolished it. They blew it up with dynamite to build the Highway 8 that's there now. This is a piece of California history just laying on the side of the road with pieces of steel coming out of it, you know?
This right here is federal property. So if you guys are standing over here, you can film all you want.
And today, the U.S. government is warning Americans to reconsider traveling to Tijuana and other border cities
where gang violence is escalating.
Can you introduce yourself?
No más MCA. And we're from Playas de Rosarito, different than downtown TJ. And the line of crime and violence and shit like that, man, living in the poverty. Back home in Los Angeles, man, it ain't nothing nice. You do the crime, you do the time, you know? But in this case, after doing time, man, they put me on the other side, you know what I mean? Which is here in Baja, California. The world's most dangerous city in the world right now. And ain't nothing nice in Tijuana. Day and night are two different things. I was gone for about 10 years of my life. I've been home about 5. This is my new home, causing ruckus through my art. And I mean, my persona is loved all over the world, me and my crew.
pit stop in the migrant city here.
Yes, pit stop in the migrant city.
The road to a new life isn't always smooth. For many, it begins here at the immigration center of Tijuana, a place of transition, uncertainty, and hope. Some arrive after a grueling journey, exhausted, but determined. Others have just been deported, stepping into an unfamiliar territory with nowhere to go.
Here, they seek shelter, legal guidance, and the chance to rebuild. Some will find help, while others will face more obstacles. The process is not easy, and the path ahead is unclear. For those who pass through these doors, the dream of a better future still lingers just beyond the border.
I left in 2000 and I came back on 10 years after. The change of the city was big. A lot of my friends, they were gone. I mean, a lot of people, they got into trouble. They just take us to the border. They turn us into the Mexican immigration, but the process is simple. They just ask a couple questions. They ask you for ID or whatever, if you eat, and they just open a gate and let you go across. That's it. And start a new beginning, you know?
You had no other choice.
Yeah, I have no other choice, you know what I mean? I have to look for a job, start doing graffiti, and start doing the art, you know? Start going through life, you know, looking for a reason to live, you know what I mean? Because like I said, leaving your family, your friends, and everything behind is kind of hard. Even though I'm from TJ, you know what I mean? Like starting all over, we actually started from zero. So you have to go through a lot of stuff, you know what I mean? It's not easy.
We uncover culture and personal narratives that define this borderland, shedding light on its triumphs and tribulations.
Tengo bayo bien suelto, pero la piche me canales y la piche ve la sella. Tengo la canales, la ve la sella y la va
They feed us, you know, they come out, you know, the free time, and you know, we have the heart, they give us food, you know, a lot of us are homeless, and you know, quite a helping hand, you know.
Amidst the challenges and complexities of border life, we meet the resilient individuals whose lives are intertwined in this frontier, ranging from hardworking individuals, families, artists, and even people on the run. We're at No Moss's crib right now, right here on the beach in TJ. Waiting for him to get ready. He's going to show us around a little bit.
Come here, sit down. Come on. Okay. Wake up doing graffiti, go to sleep doing graffiti. Ain't no different, same shit.
Or known as Trabajantes. Zapatos.
Headed to, dog?
Down the street, about to pick up much. Get busy, start this day, get a coffee.
What is your name?
2 months.
What do you do 2 months?
I guess graffiti and party. Been to about 45 countries so far.
What's your goal?
Good, man, I'm trying to hit them all. Just leave my mark everywhere, basically. And the first time I came here doing graffiti was like about 14 years ago. And back then, they weren't even doing throw-ups here. So it's definitely involved. I think a lot of our homies have had like a big influence on it. There's some good writers out here, but I feel like a lot of them hate when, you know, people from out of town come here and paint. They get all jealous, or we paint something and then they try to paint next to us or just imitate what we do. But I love it here. The women, the culture, the food, the parties, the graffiti. Dealing with the crazy police all the time. It's definitely exciting. Sí, lo vamos a hacer. Sí, van a ser That's what keeps me going and is exciting. It's traveling other places and learning the cultures, and just everything's brand new. The best places to do graffiti is where it's the most dangerous is. And that's where I like to paint. I always end up in the hood everywhere. I'm pretty comfortable in them.
In 2023, Tijuana recorded nearly 5 times as many murders as New York City, highlighting a significant level of violence in the city. You could probably faintly see the border patrol behind me. I mean, they're just doing their job 24/7. Believe it or not, Tijuana is the murder capital of the world. In reality, it's just violence between the cartel and police.
Ustedes son de aquí, de Tijuas, ¿sí? ¿Y hay trabajo por aquí o qué? ¿Ustedes andan trabajando?
No, pues nomás pedimos dinero aquí en el Oxxo.
¿Tratan de agarrar a la noche para ayudar a la familia?
Lo que se pueda.
Lo que se pueda. Solo para traer comida. ¿Tienen hermanitos ustedes?
Yo, una chiquita, sí. Es mi hermano.
¿Cuántos años tienen?
Yo 12 y él 9.
¿Cuánto tiempo tienen aquí en la calle?
No sé, aquí viviendo un año.
Popular tourist spot is also becoming a major battleground for cartels.
He tenido muchas oportunidades de trabajo aquí, me conoce la gente. Pues ya tengo casi 30 años aquí, la gente me conoce aquí en toda la zona norte. Por ejemplo, hubo una balacera.
¿Oh, sí?
Sí, o sea, cuando estuvieron haciendo limpia a los mafiosos aquí, tumbando gente aquí, matando gente allá, y por aquí, por allá, en ese entonces, por aquí, por allá, por el centro, ¿no? Donde quiera. Sí, es muy loca la gente. Sí, pero no.
¿Gente cruzando la frontera? ¿Hay mucha gente tratando de cruzar?
¿Todavía?
¿Es peligroso?
Sí, es peligroso.
Oye,
aunque todavía sí existe la gente que cruza ilegalmente, pero pues ya, o sea, ya está muy penado, ya está muy vigilado todo ese pedo. Ya.
I'm from El Salvador. I lived in LA for a couple of years. Then eventually I got caught up with the law and I got deported. And I try to go back, but when I get caught, they'll give me 10 years. I don't know why my mother, she never, she's a citizen and she never applied for my papers. You feel like kind of like a ghost because you don't have a real identity. And I get into a rehab and I gotta get my stuff together.
What kind of drugs are you trying to get off of?
Crystal, meth, it sucks, dude.
Tijuana is the busiest border city in the world. It shares its borderline with San Diego and it spans for about 15 miles. So what's your name?
Smiley.
Smiley. And where are you from, Smiley?
I was born in Guerrero. Well, I got here 6 years ago when I got deported, till I end up in the streets and then, just didn't get no help or nothing going on for myself and got into drugs and got into the messed up things and here I am. I can't go to rehab and be like, I'm gonna stop. I can't do that. I've been locked up most of my life.
So you're not gonna flip on us?
No, I'm not that type.
Tijuana is located on a major drug trafficking route and is unique as a city where heroin and to a lesser extent cocaine and methamphetamine are commonly injected.
I can't go full throttle right now because I'm not in a secure spot where I could just pass out and be safe, like in a hotel room or stuff like that. I gotta do just enough to still be awake and aware of my surroundings and stuff. And right now I'm in the full live jungle right now. Everything's popping right now, and everybody's in the DJs right now doing it, kicking it, fucking, licking. This is the most fucked up part about this is when you have no more veins and you gotta look for them and stuff. It's frustrating. It's real. It's awful. It's awful, man. And touchdown Cowboys once again. Oh man, it feels so good. It's awesome, man. It's greatest feeling. I just wouldn't recommend it to everybody that doesn't have good, strong.
Helps you cope with the pain, homie.
Yeah, it feels great.
In recent years, Tijuana has experienced a notable influx of migrants seeking better opportunities and an improved quality of life. Between 2015 and 2020, the city welcomed approximately 31,600 individuals from the US, 4,460 from Venezuela, and 3,080 from Haiti.
The primary motivations for these migrations include family reunification, 16,000 people, employment prospects, 9,620 people, and housing opportunities, 6,180 people. This diverse migration has contributed to Tijuana's rich cultural tapestry, making it a dynamic and evolving urban landscape. For centuries, this land has carried the footsteps of those searching for a new beginning. Native tribes, migrants, dreamers. The California-Mexico border is more than a divide. It's a meeting place of resilience, culture, and destiny.
Motherfucker been out of trouble 5 years, got kids, wife. Of course I miss the family and friends and loved ones, but all we got no choice is to keep going, Keep fucking going.
Stand up for our land, we're going to stand up for our rights, for our dignity, for just us being looked at as humans. And they're showing everybody like we're human too. Like we've let them throw us in cages for years. What in any person's right mind makes them think it's okay to go somewhere, take a family, strip them apart, throw their kids in cages, you're in a cage over here, you're in a cage over here, everybody's scared, they don't know what the hell's gonna happen to them.
You just want to be heard, that's it. Every human matters, doesn't matter the color, doesn't matter ethnicity, we're all equal.
Nice.
Right?
The free hostile takeover right here.
The government's a fucking mockery. Coming from the mockingbird, that's the word.
We're allowing them to protest and exercise their First Amendment right.
My girl's Mexican. I'm glad that everybody's here. I mean, other than like all the crazy stuff.
Punk ass cops telling us they're Mexican. Look out for your people. Palabra.
Throughout a lot of Native communities, we don't necessarily create lines. I feel like there's a lot to do with intersectionality as we see a lot of diversification in the world, and throughout our own communities as well. I don't think we necessarily oppose immigrants or migrants from different tribal nations or different countries in terms of when you're overstepping your boundary to like, you know, just try to like change the land or disregard our values. Of course there's going to be refutement, of course there's going to be rebuttal, and of course there's going to be a sense of resistance.
It's different over here, man. People were very enduring, loving, embracing, you know. Of course you get your people that get let down upon. You know, some people do better than others. Same shit like America. America is not just one place to live in, man. I did it for my whole life.
A balanced solution to the California-Mexico border crisis must address both migrants seeking better opportunities and American citizens concerned about overpopulation. Expanding legal pathways, investigating an economy's origin, and enhancing border infrastructure can be some of the ways to create a sustainable approach. By adopting humane policies, migrants can access safer opportunities, while border communities receive the resources needed to thrive, offering hope for both sides.
As long as people dream and fight for a better future, the border will remain a testament for the uncharted paths we take. This is Uncharted Destiny, where every journey we end, another begins.
This ain't no democracy.
Our First Amendment right!
It's been declared unlawful. It's unlawful.
The truth is, the LAPD is extremely undermanned.
They have pepper spray, German Shepherds, you name it, sir. What they don't have is a brain.
You're fighting for fascism!
All things that make the mountains and the rocks and the animals and ourselves, all what we call matter, we're all part of that same fabric. And when we pass on into the other side, with that energy that animates us, that life continues on forever.
Unsafe behavior detected. Authorities may be contacted.
You're missing a lot over there. It's crazy. You'll have a party over there.